to teach about ER data model in DBMS. When you see entity relationship model, there are three different things under which it can be classified. Entity relationship model, how it is represented, when it is going to be given as a diagram, and also the most important one, extended features of ER diagram. Because most of you would actually stop your learning at ER diagram, but when you are doing it in a real time, extended features of ER diagram is very important. Entity relationship diagram, or the so-called entity relationship, is nothing but a graphical representation of your database. When you have this diagram ready, then it can be converted into a relational model, that is a table-like representation of your data, in which the data is fitted, sample data is fitted into the relational model to check whether it is up to the mark. In case if you find a lot of redundancy and asset property is not followed, they try to normalize it. So we are going to see under the entity relationship model, we are going to see what is ER model, what is an entity, what is an attribute and its type, entity set, keys, cardinality mapping. When you want to see what is an ER model, the first thing is that when you take a particular software that needs a particular system that needs to be converted as a software, where the data is going to be stored, that collection of data, we call it as a database. Now, to create the database, we cannot start storing the data in some order. First, we have to correct the requirements of the customer. When we do that requirements elicitation or the so-called requirement gathering using elicitation method, we try to find out which is the best method to store the data. When you find it, the first step after gathering the information, we collect what are the data that is used in that system, and it is arranged in a conceptual model. After that, logically in case how it can be organized so that the database is quite efficient is going to be your logical database design. So you gather the requirement, you analyze it, how it is connected, and later arrange it in a way that will be feasible for a good database model. The next one, we are going to see what is an entity. Entity can be anything in a system. It can be a real world object, it can be a process, it can be a system that is followed, even a simple transaction also can be an entity. I'm going to give you some examples of entity. In a student database, student is an entity, teacher is an entity, class they handle is an entity. You see, student and teacher are real world humans, whereas a class is where a student goes and studies. So it's an abstract form. Then courses, the subjects they study, the school, that is the college or the school or branch they go to, the fees they pay. All these kind of things are very important in a school management system. When you do that, these are some of the entities that will have a major impact on the software, where data relevant to this one needs to be stored and organized well. When I want to represent an entity, I would represent an entity in a square box where an employee is working in a department, where working is nothing but the relationship they hold. The next one, if you see, the most important one is an attribute. Each and every entity, the entities we had already seen like student or class or teachers, everything possesses attributes. Example, in a particular class, we are not going to have just one student. We will be having multiple students. Example, in one class, I can have 60 students. In 1 year, I can have 4 to 5 sections. And in a particular program, I can have 4 different years. When, if you see, there will be students in each and every class. Each and every student will commonly possess information or the so-called properties, which is known as the attributes. Entities are represented by the means of properties called as attributes. For a student, register number is an entity. Name of the student, the specialization that student has opted, the date of birth, address and email ID, all of these are part of the student's entity. In case attributes, for a car entity, the attributes that are part of it are name of the car, model number of the car, type of the car, year the car was manufactured, the engine type, the fuel type. So in case if I want to represent it as a diagram, student is an entity where I will be representing in a rectangle box, and all the attributes are represented in elliptical boxes, and it is connected through a straight line. So, and attributes are nothing but the properties of an entity. The next one we are going to see are the types of attributes. Types of attributes, when I say, there are 4 different types of attributes. The first one is a simple attribute, where this will hold only the atomic value in the table. Example, if I want to say a simple attribute, I can tell maybe the zip code, because after this I cannot break down the pin code of your country, because that is going to be common for everyone in this country. Similarly, I can take the salary they own, because the salary I cannot break it down any further than that. Those things will be called as a simple attribute. Here for a student, I can have phone number or even the class they are studying. All those can be a simple attribute, where it is represented as a elliptical symbol. It is connected to the student. The next one, if you see, is a composite attribute. Composite attribute is nothing but we are combining multiple things. Composing is taking multiple attributes and putting together. So, multiple simple attributes put together representing a property. Example, name is an attribute where I can break down the name as first name, middle name and last name. Similarly, I can take an address, where an address can have a door number or a flat number, the street where the houses are there, the locality, the city, state and pin code. So all these put together is forming an address. So this, if you see, is a composition of all these attributes. Address is a composition of all these attributes. Name is a composition of all these attributes. When I want to represent it, student is an entity where I'll have it in a rectangle box. Address is an attribute where each of the sub-attributes or the composition of it, that is door number, street name, the locality, city, the state and pin code are all its composite attributes. The next one, if you see, is going to be derived attributes. Derived attributes these are attributes that technically doesn't exist in the particular diagram. So if I want in a physical database, this entity is not physically there. You don't allocate a location in your table to, that is physically it is not present in your table. You don't allocate any space for that particular attribute. So example is that date of birth is an entity that can be residing for a person, or a date of joining for a person who is working. But on the other hand, the age of the person needs to be calculated, because age is a variant of the date of birth, because every year a person ages. Similarly, a person's experience changes as the year proceeds. So age is not a permanent value, it is subject to change. Same goes with your experience. So from your date of birth, age will be derived. Similarly, from the date of joining, we can derive experience. To represent this person, I have represented in a rectangle box where a date of birth is stored in this ellipse, where from this the age entity is derived. So the derived entity is actually represented in the form of dashed ellipse. The next one, if you see, is a multi-valued attribute, where one attribute we say when it is single or atomic, we call it as a simple attribute. On the other hand, if a particular record is having multiple values of the same entity, of the same attribute, we call it as multi-valued attribute. Example, a person can have multiple phone numbers, or a person can have multiple email IDs. So, or they can have two addresses, like the current address and the postal address. So, doctor, if you see, can have a phone number. Here, the symbol that is represented for this one is phone number, where it is given as double eclipse, where two lines are drawn around the attribute.